You were 8 years old when you became the parent, and nobody noticed you stopped being a child until it was too late. This is the psychology of stolen childhood and why you still can't rest. You were 8 years old when you learned that love is conditional, not because someone told you, but because you watched your parent crumble and something primal whispered, if you don't fix this, everything falls apart. So you became the fixer, the peacekeeper, the emotional janitor of a house that was never supposed to be your responsibility. And here's the twisted part. Everyone praised you for it. Wow, you're so mature for your age. You're such a good kid. I don't know what I'd do without you. But nobody asked, what is this costing you? Welcome to the silent epidemic of parentified children, kids who became adults before their brains were ready. And if you're listening to this feeling a knot in your stomach, that's not coincidence. That's recognition. Because the effects don't fade with age. They mutate. They follow you into every relationship, every job, every moment you can't figure out why rest feels like failure. Let's dissect what actually happens when childhood gets stolen. When a 7-year-old is forced to regulate a 35-year-old's emotions, something catastrophic happens neurologically. It's called parentification, and it doesn't just hurt, it rewires your brain. Your amygdala, the fear center, goes into overdrive. You develop hypervigilance, a state where you're constantly scanning for emotional landmines.
You learn to read microexpressions before you can read chapter books. You become a human smoke detector, always alert, never off duty. And here's the cruel irony. This makes you exceptional at certain things. You're empathetic, responsible, high-achieving. You can manage chaos like a seasoned CEO. But you can't enjoy a sunset without wondering what's about to go wrong because your nervous system learned one rule. Safety is an illusion. Vigilance is survival. You became the good child, the one who never complained, never cried at the wrong time, never needed too much. You learned that your needs were dangerous and theirs were urgent. You became fluent in a language most kids never learned: emotional translation. You could tell if today was a good day or a hide-in-your-room day just by the sound of footsteps on the stairs. So you performed. You smiled when you were dying inside. You said, "I'm fine," so convincingly that even you believed it. And the Academy Award goes to a 9-year-old who learned that authenticity is a luxury only safe people can afford. You weren't acting. You were surviving. But deep down, there's a child still screaming, "Why didn't anyone protect me?" They didn't disappear. They're still running the show, just from the shadows. Fast forward 20 years. You're successful, you're independent, you're strong. But you can't accept help without feeling weak. You can't rest without feeling guilty. You can't cry without apologizing. You've built an empire on self-reliance, but secretly, you're exhausted from carrying a weight you were never meant to lift alone. The fortress you built to protect yourself became the prison you can't escape. You become the therapist friend who never shares their own problems. You become the partner who overfunctions, always fixing, managing, anticipating, then wonders why you feel invisible. You mistake exhaustion for worthiness. You've confused being needed with being loved. And the tragic part? You're so good at anticipating everyone else's needs that you've forgotten you're allowed to have your own. And the worst part? You don't even realize you're still in survival mode. Because when chaos is normalized early, your nervous system accepts it as baseline. Peace feels suspicious. Stillness feels wrong. Joy feels unearned. This is the hidden cost of growing up too fast. You inherit an adulthood where you're always holding your breath.
Let's continue with why you can't just get over it. Here's what people don't understand. This isn't about being too sensitive. It's not about living in the past. This is complex developmental trauma. Your brain literally developed differently. While other kids were learning to play, you were learning to predict, manage, and survive. That's not a character flaw, that's neurobiology. When a child has to sacrifice their authenticity for attachment, for safety, that's not weakness, it's a form of biological intelligence. You did what you had to do to survive. But here's the paradox. What saved you then is imprisoning you now. The coping mechanisms that made you a hero at 8 years old make you unavailable at 30. The hypervigilance that protected you then now sabotages every relationship that tries to get close. You overachieve to earn love. You stay silent to avoid abandonment. You take care of everyone, secretly, desperately, wishing someone would just ask if you're okay. And that fantasy, the one where someone finally notices you're not as strong as you pretend to be, that isn't your adult self talking. That's the child you buried, the one who is still waiting to be seen. Let's talk about the healing nobody warns you about. Here's the brutal, honest truth. No one is coming to rescue that child. You have to go back. You have to be the one to hold their hand. You have to say what no one else said. You didn't deserve that. You were just a child. You get to rest now. This isn't about blame. It's not about revenge. It's about finally giving yourself the permission slip you have been waiting for your entire life. The one that says your pain matters, even if no one validated it back then. This is shadow work, not the Instagram version, the real kind. It means feeling the grief you never had the time or the safety to feel. It means sitting with the rage, the sorrow, the vast unmet needs. It means weeping for birthdays where no one showed up. It means mourning the innocence you lost, protecting people who should have been protecting you. And here's the part no one tells you. Healing doesn't mean you'll forget. It means you will finally stop abandoning yourself the way they abandoned you. It means you become the adult that child so desperately needed. And that grief, it's not a sign of weakness. It is proof that you're healing. Because what was frozen inside you is finally thawing. So how do you stop reliving your childhood? Ask your inner child this one question. What did I need back then that I never, ever got? Maybe you needed someone to say it wasn't your fault. Maybe you just needed permission to just play, without fear. Maybe you just needed someone to look you in the eye and ask how you were doing. Now, you give those things to yourself. Not to fix the past, you can't, but to stop repeating it. This is how you stop seeking parents in your partners. This is how you stop mistaking anxiety for intuition. This is how you stop running from the child you were and step toward the self you are becoming. Let's get one thing straight about your strength. Your maturity was never the problem. The problem was that you had no choice. But now you do. You can choose softness. You can choose rest. You can choose to stop managing everyone else's emotions and start honoring your own. There will be days you feel like a child again. Good. That's the point. Let that child come home. Let them cry. Let them play. Let them finally be seen. Because you are not broken. You are becoming whole. And maybe, for the very first time, you're finally growing up the right way. Not through pressure, not through fear, but through truth.
You never had a childhood, but you still have a future. And this time, you get to write it.